So everybody, here we have an iPad and iPad Pro accessory video. I'm going to be going over all of my favorite accessories that I think are essential to anybody that's using their iPad, whether it is as a supplemental content consumption device or if you're using it like myself as your main and only computer. So without further ado, let's talk about my favorite accessories. Everything will be linked down in order in the description below, so let's get right into it. So let's start off with what the iPad is sitting on right now, which is Kuxiu's X36 magnetic wireless charging iPad stand. And Kuxiu, this was one of the first companies that made, if not the only company that's currently making, a tablet that's actually able to charge your iPad with the pin connectors. Now they make this for pretty much any iPad that has those 3 pin connectors on the rear of it. I will say that they have one model for the M4 iPad Pro and then the other model that works with all the older iPad Pros, as well as the iPad Airs and the M2 iPad Airs. So this is one of my favorite recommendations because it's unique and it solves 2 main purposes, which is to be a magnetic stand, to put your iPad more at eye level. It also has a bunch of different viewing angles. You can move it all the way down, all the way up, tilted 360 degrees, or 180 if you want to flip it the other way. But most importantly, it does support up to 18-watt pass-through charging through the 3 pin connectors on the magnetic plate itself, freeing up the actual Thunderbolt port that's on your iPad Pro for data transfer or any other sort of USB-C dongle. So this one is definitely my favorite iPad accessory that isn't the Magic Keyboard. But outside of that, the absolute best accessory to recommend to anybody that has an iPad that has the 3 pin connectors on the rear. So next up, I want to bring up an accessory that I use every single day for my workflow, and that has to be an external SSD by Lexar. Now we all know that the biggest price gouge when it comes to Apple accessories is when you upgrade the storage internally, and it's great to have internal storage from time to time, but if you want to save the most amount of money, definitely get yourself a baseline version of any of these products, and then get yourself an external SSD like Lexar's SSD, which comes in, I believe, a 1TB, 2TB, which is one that I have, and 4TB variants. It is ultra slim, it fits the Apple aesthetic, made out of aluminum, stays cool to the touch the entire time, and I use it as my main SSD when offloading footage from my iPhone or importing footage from my iPhone to my iPad Pro, to then use LumaFusion and work off of that SSD. This will work, of course, with anything that has a USB-C port. Like I use it in conjunction with my iPhone to be able to record footage on my iPhone, then offload it to the SSD, and then import it to the iPad. So get yourself a reliable and quality SSD. I believe the 2TB is about $180, but it supports the fastest speeds possible through the Thunderbolt port of the iPad Pro. And the next one in that same light is going to be a USB-C dongle. Now we live in a great world where every single iPad has USB-C, so all these dongles will work at varying transfer speeds, but they will all work for your device. So the USB-C one I'm going to recommend is a 10-in-1 by DockCase, and what I like about this is that it's got a couple of tricks up its sleeve. First and foremost, it is a 10-in-1, so it has all the different I/O that you would ever need for any single product. So you have a micro SD and an SD card slot, USB-A, USB-A 3.2 Gen 2 port, you have a USB-C 3.2 Gen 2 port, you also have a USB-C port that supports up to 100 watts of power pass-through, you also have an HDMI port that supports up to 8K30, you have a display port which supports up to 4K 120, you have an additional USB-A regular port, and then lastly you have a 10 gigabit Ethernet port that can be used to hardwire in. And what's nice about this is that yes, it has all those different I/O ports to kind of diversify, but also the aesthetic is great. It has this translucent front so you can see everything that's going on inside of the device. And secondly, it has a 1" by 1" LCD display that lets you see exactly what's going on in real time. It's kind of like a diagnostic panel, so you get to see which monitors you're connected to. You get to see how much transfer speed is happening. You get to see how fast your internet is. You can see which ports are taken up and which ones are empty. So I love getting this little diagnostic panel that is easy to use and can give you all the real live data from what you're connected to your device. And to stay in that connectivity realm, I do want to recommend a cable that I've been using for all of my devices, and that's going to be the Flex cable by Raycon. It's a 6-in-1 Flex cable, and what I like about this is that it pretty much covers everything that you would need from a connectivity standpoint. So I know that we're kind of getting to the point now where we are USB-C all things, but there's still that off chance that you might need to have a lightning port or maybe micro USB alongside that USB-C and USB-A. So the Magic Flex cable does exactly that. It's got 2 ends to it. The one end has a USB-C plug, and then it is covered by a USB-A plug, so you have 2 different forms of plugging in right there. And then on the other side, you have a USB-C that also turns into a lightning cable that also turns into a micro USB. So you have everything that you would need out of a single cable, and what I like about it is that it does support 100-watt power pass-through. It is a data cable still. It supports up to 480 Mbps, so it's not the fastest, but it can help you from a data transfer standpoint in a pickle. And then lastly, it is a flat and rugged cable, meaning it'll never tangle, and it'll last you for years and years to come. So that one's always in my bag no matter where I go, because I know that I have a reliable cable that I can use with any of my devices, whether it is for data transfer or charging. Another one I want to throw in here, if you are a gamer, if you like to use your iPad on the go as a dummy monitor, I recommend getting yourself an HDMI capture card. It's about $20 depending on when you're buying it. It could be even cheaper now with Prime Day, but this is the one that I've been recommending for years now, and basically what it allows you to do is with the correct application, I use an application called Orion to put on the iPad, you can turn your iPad display into a dummy display to be able to receive HDMI in, meaning that you can use this with your Xbox, your PlayStation, your Switch, your computer if you want to, or any other device that gives you an HDMI out, because it'll turn your iPad into that dummy display. Now technically this HDMI capture card supports up to 4K 60, but the application and the game need to also support that, so your experience may vary, but I use this to play NCAA, to play Madden, to play 2K, directly from my Xbox onto my iPad, and I have a whole video detailing how to do that if you guys want to check it out. But for a $20 little piece of tech to turn your display, which is probably the best mobile display on the planet, into a gaming monitor is something that I highly recommend for everybody. So now when it comes to charging, I have two solutions on me most times, and they're both pretty good travel solutions, but the first one is going to be Nomad's 65-watt power brick. And what I like about this is that yes, it is a normal power brick first and foremost. It supports 65 watts on one single USB-C port, and then you can actually do two dual USB-C ports and to get 45 watts and then 18 watts on the bottom one, so you can fast charge not only your iPad Pro, but also, let's say, your iPhone 16 Pro Max via USB-C, but then also it does have an Apple Watch plug charger on the top of it that supports fast charging for your Apple Watch as well, so this kind of covers all of your bases in a nice compact package that plugs directly into the wall. So this one is kind of like my wall charger that does a little bit of everything, and I'm able to charge everything quickly in a small little package. And then secondly, if you want a product that's more on the go, like a battery bank, this one by Anker is one of my favorite ones, and it is their 3-in-1 charger. And what I like about this is that it can charge your iPad Pro pretty much at almost full speed, because it does support up to 30-watt fast charging, but then also has a second USB-C out, so you can technically plug in your iPad, charge it at 18 watts, and then get a trickle charge onto your iPhone if you want to, and it does have a 10,000 milliamp hour battery built into here to be able to handle all that charging. And then secondly, it also has an Apple Watch charging plug on there that supports up to 5 watts of Apple Watch charging, so you can charge your iPad at 30 watts and your Apple Watch at the full 5 watts, because technically this can push out up to 35 watts fully when combined correctly. So this one by Anker, a 10,000 milliamp hour battery with a beautiful little display on there to let you know how much battery you have on a percentage basis, which I like much better than like the 3 or 4 dots that other companies do. So this one by Anker is something that I recommend for anybody to have in your everyday carry. And next up, I want to talk about the display and how to make sure it stays clean. I personally use a Paperlike screen protector with everything. I do recommend getting a screen protector if that's something that you want to do. I'll leave Paperlikes down below if you want to check it out. But more importantly, if you aren't a screen protector type of person, then I do suggest getting yourself some sort of spray and polishing cloth in order to make sure that those fingerprints kind of stay clear of the display, because as beautiful as this display is, especially with the M4 iPad Pro and that tandem OLED and all that beautiful stuff, it is a fingerprint magnet, especially if the light hits it correctly. It's almost unwatchable and unseeable, so definitely get yourself a nice cleaning kit, and the one that I have here is also by Paperlike. What I like about this is that it's compact and it's an all-in-one, so I only have to carry this one piece of kit. All I have to do is spray with the actual spray bottle, and then the spray bottle wrapped around it is the microfiber cloth itself, so a couple of swipes, I'm good to go, and then I put it away in its little plastic casing, and it's one compact package. So I've had this one actually for over a year, and it still has not gotten so dirty, because I know a lot of people were asking what happens to the outside of it after a couple of cleans. Does it get dirty? Do you need to rewash it? And so far, after a year of use, and I use it at least once a week, it's still perfectly fine. And now I do want to recommend a couple of audio solutions, because again, if you're using this on the go and you're at a coffee shop, you need to make sure you have a good pair of headphones. First and foremost, AirPods Pro Gen 2. There's nothing that can beat it, especially at the price. Amazon has them for $190 on most days. Prime Day might be even giving you a better deal compared to what they cost from Apple at $250. If you want something that just works great, has great active noise cancellation, great transparency mode, great battery life, fits in any pocket, it works well with your ecosystem, AirPods Pro is the way to go. But then if you want a pair of over-ear headphones, the Sonos Ace are my recommendation. I love this. These are my favorite pair of over-ear headphones right now. They're very lightweight, super comfortable. The awareness mode and the active noise cancellation modes rival that of AirPods Max, and I could not recommend these more. And then lastly, I did want to include some sort of carrying case if you are on the go, but nothing too crazy and bulky. I like to recommend stuff from Waterfield. They make some amazing leather and premium accessories for all Apple products, from large backpacks to carry everything you need to small little compact kind of carrying cases for accessories. But this one falls right in between, where it's kind of like a sleeve for your iPad. It also fits a 13-inch MacBook Air, but I use it specifically for my iPad Pro with my Magic Keyboard. and my Apple Pencil. It has a magnetic closing latch, so you know that your stuff is safe. The inside of it is lined with microfiber cloth. It's got some nice padding, so if you drop this with your iPad in there, your iPad's gonna be more than fine. It's got a front sleeve to carry all those other accessories that I mentioned. So this you can either carry by itself and be on the go and take it to a coffee shop, or it also fits in one of their other messenger bags, which I've talked about in the past, which I will also link down below if you guys want to check that one out. But those are all the accessories that I use all the time with my iPad Pro. I did want to avoid talking about the Magic Keyboard and the Apple Pencil Pro because together those are almost $500, so it's a little bit cost prohibitive. I do use those on a daily basis, and I do recommend them if that is in your budget because it does give you a great experience, but you do not need the Magic Keyboard or the Apple Pencil Pro to get a great experience out of your iPad Pro, and that's what I wanted to show off with these accessories. You can easily get this magnetic charging stand with a wireless keyboard like from Satechi, and with less than $200 have a great kind of desk setup with your iPad Pro that can also be taken on the go whenever you need to. But that'll do for this video, everybody. Leave a comment down below of some of the accessories you use with your iPad, whether it is an iPad Pro, an iPad Air, an iPad Mini. Definitely stay tuned because iPad Mini should be coming out in this October event, which I'm very, very excited about. But all these accessories should also work with any of the iPads, not just the iPad Pro. But that'll do it, everybody. If you made it to the end of this video, leave a little dolphin in the comments down below so I know you made it to the end of this video. And if you guys want to watch more videos like this one, click on one of these videos right here. And until next time, I'm Fernando, and I'm out of here, everybody. Peace.